Now, part 2. If I was doing IAM and someone moves off a signal and go, what was the point of the signal? Who were you signaling to? Is that mentioned at all in part 2?
No.
It's just literally
at the end of the day.
Sorry to interrupt, but if you're learning to drive, you need to become a member and get access to a Learn to Drive course. Absolutely comprehensive videos, small fee each month, videos added all the time. Learn to Drive just using our videos.
Yeah, and that's somebody's asked that question. All right, okay. So
it's okay to drop by the drop curb.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, it's like, why was that drop curb there? Yeah. Can you do we understand? Maybe it's because of the pub. I don't know, but there's dropped curbs everywhere around here, and you're like, is there actual reason? So somebody asked a question on TikTok. I think I showed you it last night in the pub, didn't I? About giving a signal, and he said, if I give a signal and there's nobody around, my instructors told me that that's the driving fault. What you got to ask yourself is, right, if we have a look on here, signalling, all right, is a signal necessary? Right, it's not necessary, right? Then what you ask yourself, correct, is it wrong? So if you're moving off and you've got a left and you've got a right hand signal on and there's nobody around, is it incorrect, your signal? No. If you're going to be turning right and there's nobody in front of you, behind me, or to the junction that you're turning into, is it still a correct signal? Yes, it is. If you're at a set of traffic lights in a right hand filter lane turning right and you can only go right, if you were to put your right hand signal on, would it be incorrect? No, it would. It might not be necessary, but it's not incorrect. It's not confusing. Yeah. So really, that necessary box is if I didn't put a signal on there to when
turn
you should
right,
have done.
When I should have put a signal.
When you should have, you know. So is it, you know, would somebody else benefit from a signal? Yeah. Right now, you know, you could argue the fact somebody else, right? It's like any other road user. Now a pedestrian can be a road user. So if you make the judgment, right? Okay, there's a pedestrian there and I'm turning into that road. If I put my signal on, is that going to benefit them? Quite possibly. Yeah. And if you didn't, it could be really dangerous, lack of signal. Yeah. Because they could cross the road assuming you're going ahead. But yeah, you know, but that's also then comes down to your awareness and planning for turning in, because of the new section. Well, I'm saying new. It's been in it's been within a few years now. About we must let, if a pedestrian's waiting to cross at a junction, we should be letting them cross. Yes. If they look at us and we make eye contact and they're making no attempt to cross and they're waiting for us, we can take that opportunity. Yeah. And that's where judgment comes in. But that's all to do with awareness and planning. You're aware what's going off, and you change your plan accordingly. Timed. Loads of people get this wrong. Loads of people get this wrong. Loads of people say if you put your signal on too early, it would be marked as timed. No, it wouldn't. It would be marked as incorrect. Yeah. Because they may think that you're pulling up at the side of the road, or they might think, you know, if you put it, let's say you've got two junctions close to each other, you know, and the speed, and you've got a signal on, let's say two left turns, and you've got a signal on to turn left, and then somebody comes to that junction, well, that's going to be a serious, isn't it? Because they think that you're turning into that road. You know, if there's no, do you know what I mean? And there's your way to fault. What can you add? What can you take away? We talked about this in the pub last night, that you're always, in terms of indicators, you're always signalling. Yes, you're turning left, yes, you're turning right. But if you've got no indicator on, you're indicating, I'm staying in this road. But also, your road position can be an indicator in itself. Yeah, position, absolutely. Like this morning when you were following me, to the test centre, I moved out around past a car on that quite white road, and we got a load of paintwork in the middle. I didn't put a signal on, and you did. Whether it's down to habit and things like that. I put a signal on because there's someone in that car, and it's just warning them with my presence, rather than I'm going around a car, I'm coming out the lane. It's more like, if he's there, to me, and that's it. If there's no one in the car, my rule of thumb is if it doesn't move, don't signal. If it moves, signal. However, if there's someone in the car and they literally just pulled in and they look like they could be moving off, well, what's wrong with warning also? Absolutely. Someone coming the other way, I'm coming out into you, don't be alarmed by me. If I suddenly move into their presence. Which comes into, like, necessary, is it necessary, yes or not, and stuff like that. You've done it as an additional safety thing. Me as an examiner, would I have marked it down? for not signalling? No, I wouldn't.
No.
Because your road position is already letting people know that you're going past a stationary vehicle. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, when we did the training, all right, signals. So we've got necessary, correct, and timed. We changed that to that. Omitted, wrong, and late.
Yeah. And
that's how you think where it goes in that.
Yeah.
Omitted, wrong, or late.
Makes more sense, doesn't it?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And this is where the person on your TikTok and the instructor's taking an interpretation of what was necessary.
Yeah. So another question for you. So if you're, I think we may have spoke about this last weekend, and I drew it down.
I spent more time with you the last 2 weeks than I have with my wife.
Yeah. Same. Likewise.
Yeah.
Likewise. So we've got a junction here. All right. We've got a junction there, and we've got a turn. We're turning right.
Yeah.
Right. You've got an arrow. You've got a car there, so it's not into the junction. Part of it's sticking out. We've got some examples of it today. There's an arrow in it. If you're sticking out there, where would it get marked?
That would be with the arrow. I would call it failure to respond to road markings.
Road markings. No arrow.
Junction error. Lane discipline.
Position turning right.
Position turning right.
Yeah. So where are we? Junctions. Right.
See,
so
I'd have done
position
it.
turning right.
I've been doing.
Yeah.
Mind you, lane discipline. Yeah. Okay.
Lane discipline is where you're,
drifting out of the.
Yeah. Okay. Where you're splitting two lanes and
Either
stuff
way,
like that.
You're getting faulted.
Yeah.
Where it goes.
Yeah.
Is...
It's all geography.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And you see lots and lots of people out there on TikTok, instructors, and they're and I was the same before becoming an examiner, and I would mark it, but I would mark it in the wrong place. Now, there's a reason why you shouldn't be marking it in the wrong place, and you would think, well, yeah, that's a so-and-so fault, that's a so-and-so fault. Well, if you're getting loads and loads of that fault, but half of them should have been somewhere else, you're now we're getting towards a serious fault here, because we're collecting, let's say eight driving faults in one box, when realistically 4 of them
could have been another
should have been another box, and you're looking at a different result then.
I suppose if you're inexperienced, same thing again, but it's not the same thing again. It's symptoms the same, but the cause or whatever it actually is. The other one, of course, a lot of people may say is steering. People think, steering, is it crossing your hands? Well, it's not. Steering
is the car going where you're intending it to go.
So if I cut the corner,
that's cutting corners. There's a box for it.
Cutting corners there.
Cutting
corners.
So
if I swan-necked, what would I be?
That'd be steering.
So that's a steering error.
So you're late turning.
So it wouldn't be a junction error. It's
a steering error.
Control the steering.
Absolutely. So these are your control faults. Accelerator. Yeah. Like very rarely have I marked accelerator.
So if I came off the clutch, I held the clutch and rode the clutch and kept my foot down whilst changing gear, would that be an accelerator control error?
We'd be looking we'd be looking at eco for control or planning,
which is the mentionable, of course, isn't it?
Yes,
eco.
It's only mentionable on a learner test. That's not marked. On a part 2 now, they are, and on a part 2, you're also expected, if you've got cruise control and limiter, you're also expected to
use them as well. Right.
It was.
I got the question: is it okay to use cruise control in your drone test? Well, why not?
Why not?
Why not as a control of the car?
If it's there, you can use it.
You put a speed limiter on town if you wanted to.
Yep. The only thing that you're not allowed to do, and some cars have them, the only thing that you're not allowed to do is self-parking.
Yeah.
The self-parking mode on some cars, where you just press a button and it does it all for you, like a parallel park.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
That's the only thing that you're not allowed. You're not allowed to do. If the car has it, then it's allowed to be used.
So if I was driving down the dual carriage, I kept it in 4th gear, I could have comfortably been in the 6th gear. Again, it's just an eco.
And there's parts of me like you might get gears, you might get a fault for gears, but you are looking at just an eco fault, realistically. So precautions. That's starting your car up whilst you're in gear without your clutch down. have you done? Do you know what I mean? Ancillary controls. When it starts raining, have you managed to put your wipers on?
No, if I didn't know where the wiper was, I have a complete mental brain fart, if you want to call it that.
So are you talking on a learner, or
I'm talking
as a
learner?
learner?
A learner first of all.
Right, okay.
Okay, it starts raining.
Yeah.
Would you like to put, with an idea to put the wipers on or something like that? I don't know where the wipers are.
Pull up in a safe place, right? Locate. I'm now going to give you opportunity to locate the wipers.
Okay.
If they still don't know where the wipers are, you will then just, you know.
Have you interfered with the driving test at this stage?
No.
This is not a fault.
No.
No.
Well, it is a fault because you've asked them to pull up and they've not been able to find it without.
So that would be ancillary control.
Ancillary controls, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Quite often though, you know, when you're driving along, you see, like, you know, we could benefit here from having our lights on. We could benefit from having our lights on here, and you're driving along, and obviously somebody that's a learner, they're already nervous. They're already nervous about a test, so they'll be like, I'm really nervous, and they've just completely, the mind's gone blank. They're scared of doing certain things.
There's another thing there where a student wouldn't pick up on that. Is the fact if you've been trained, if you've been trained the old way, you've been instructed, you've been told put your lights on. If you hear with benefit of putting the lights on, if you used to learn, you would think okay,
right, and get them to start thinking.
Otherwise, I'm driving what am I told to do? I'm a puppet of the driving instructor. So I reckon if you're trained properly, and the examiner says you might benefit from it starting to rain a little bit now, a bit heavier now, isn't it?
Yeah.
You go, not go, oh yeah, nice day for ducks.
Yeah,
or something,
but
you know,
also as well, I've gone. Can you see? Look at. Can you believe that some of these people here are driving without lights on? Bing. Or, whilst driving along, when it's safe to do so, can you show me how you put your dipped headlights on? Put them on. Would you like me to turn them off? And I'll say, look at whether quite a few people have got theirs on. We might as well just leave them on. No fault there. You've not interfered.
No, you dropped the hint.
But it's a big hint.
Driving along, last question, because these cameras are all over here, you're not careful, and time batches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm driving along, I'm going to a country lane, I generally don't know what the speed limit is. I've turned it, I've missed the thing, it's gone to national speed limit. What's the speed limit?
Just do what you think is best.
So, okay, I'll do what I think is best. I think it's a 30.
Okay.
What happens after that?
Well, it's time and distance. At the end of the day, the person that sat here is an observer. They're not an instructor.
Yes.
Right. And I'm here to see. You know, are you able to drive?
Yes. I'm demonstrating my first ever unsupervised drive.
Are you able to drive unsupervised? I'm here as an observer in an observatory capacity. That is all.
Yeah.
Right. So you know.
So it goes back to, are you making progress?
It does.
Yeah.
You know, are you making progress as and when safe to do so? Loads of people think, oh, why is this a 60 road? Does it say I've got to do 60? Do you know what I mean?
This is what I say to my students every single time. That bit of metal, does it know if it's night, day, wet, icy, foggy, what vehicle are you driving, what the road conditions are? If you're going to think that, is your brains, and I like to think your brains and eyes and ears and senses are better than a bit of metal put up by Dave from the council.
Yeah,
if it's not, if you're getting your information from Dave who put it up,
and here's another one as well.
You shouldn't be driving.
Here's another one, right? So a lot of people say, why is this still a 60 road? Not enough people have died.
Absolutely.
That is the reason.
Every time you see some metal work, someone has had a serious incident.
Most roads in the UK initially were national speed limit. As time has gone on and driving habits have changed and new roads are built, somebody somewhere has said, right, do you know what's suitable for this road? This speed limit. Whereas prior to that, they were national speed limit, which is why they're black and white. Because they're one of the oldest speed limits. They're black and white, you know, and not many signs are black and white.
That didn't come into about 1960 something, the national speed limit.
Well, yeah,
before then there was literally it was literally open.
Well, it was unlimited.
I mean, probably those days,
unrestricted.
not many cars to do much above 60 to get up to speed anyway. So I think that came in as
because hang on a bit, and then we started getting motorways and things like that. You know. Did you ever see the video of the motorway is one of the safest roads in the world, no collisions and what have you, and then in the background a car goes up the banking and they
that was one of my first ever TikTok videos I put on. It was the Minister of Road Safety.
That's right,
there's nothing wrong with this junction here, and there's nothing wrong, and it's like crunch for
crunch,
it's like a full called Tina, wasn't it? Things like that.
It's brilliant. It's like it's a bit like when can you remember the Second Gulf War, and you'd got the Iraqi Armed Forces Minister. They call him
Chemical Ali.
Chemical Ali.
Comedy Ali.
Comical Ali.
Comical Ali.
Yeah. And there are no British or American troops in Iraq.
They've all been fought back.
And they're going behind him. Like, hang on, there's an Abrams. You know, right? Okay.
Where did we get to in my part 2?
So
you've explained it to me, haven't you?
Yeah, we've explained everything. Okay. So.